Well, yesterday's ceremony for Joe Biden passed without major incident or interruption. The scenes in Washington, D.C. were certainly different from what we saw on January the 6th, when Donald Trump supporters, fueled by misinformation, stormed the U.S. Capitol building. It's worth noting that there were some scenes of unrest, for example, here in Portland, Oregon, where some people attacked the headquarters of the Democratic Party. People pictured here, some carried banners in support of the QAnon conspiracy movement. Now, this is a baseless theory that there is supposedly a satanic ring of pedophiles around the world involving prominent politicians and public figures. The theory believes that Donald Trump, the former US president, acted as a warrior against this supposed deep state. But there is no evidence for this, even though the theory is gaining traction not just in the United States, but also here in Europe. People who had read about this conspiracy theory movement online believed that yesterday Joe Biden would not be inaugurated. They believed that Donald Trump would remain the United States president and continue this supposed fight against a deep state. So when yesterday's ceremony ran like clockwork, they were left in a state of confusion and despair. Many people, having been driven from mainstream social media platforms, were active on other online forums, expressing their anger that they said they had been led by false hope through this movement. And indeed, you had other prominent users who had pushed the QAnon conspiracy theory movement, posting in other online chat rooms, suggesting that believers should now get back to the life that they were able to live as best they can and respect the Constitution. This is leaving a lot of people in confusion. So where do conspiracy theorists like this go now? Well, a lot of analysts have suggested that they are not simply going to go away. Analysts like Marc-Andre Argentino have said that there's going to be a deep state dedicated ring who are going to continue to double their efforts to push out a baseless conspiracy theory movement. But there is also the issue of the psychology of those people who are left in despair when their theories, their hopes that January the 20th would be a day of inauguration were left unfounded. Well, for more on this, I spoke to Dr. Daniel Jolly, and he told me that when it comes to conspiracy theorists like this, it's important that we communicate with them so that they can understand information in a better light.
So it's really important that people have conversations and build rapport. Don't go in and say, ha, you are wrong, because that is going to obviously not build that rapport. Instead, try and understand why that person is there and try and help them, in essence, kind of better evaluate information. In my view, that person may have been there to deal with some of the emotional backlash that we have during the COVID situation with COVID-19, anxiety, etc. So they may be holding on to a conspiracy narrative to understand the world.
And you have analysts who have also suggested that other groups, extremist groups, could perhaps feed on the despair that QAnon theorists are feeling right now to try and encourage them to spread other false rumours. So, Oliver, Joe Biden has been inaugurated a US president, but false rumours online are simply not going to go away.